Yeah, this is Moo back again for the second part of the series and conclusion of the Bobby Brown story on BET. Yeah, well, if you haven't seen it, if you think it's going to be an issue, come back to it. If not, I'm going in. This was very intense. Tonight's episode was real intense. It starts off Bobby in a car accident in Hollywood, I think Florida. And then it went from there to Bobby and Whitney on a tour bus. Uh, he's doing substances, and he started having delusions that Whitney's trying to kill him, and he puts a gun to the bus driver to let him off, and he runs off, gets off the bus and runs into a field and goes to this man's house. This man pulls a gun, says, "Get off my property," and Bobby's telling people trying to kill him. And he tells him to leave the property, and his friends from the bus, the tour bus, are trying to calm Bobby down, trying to calm the man down, saying, we didn't mean no harm. My friend's having some trouble. Sir, please put the gun down. And he calmly puts the gun down and then recognizes Whitney Houston. Then another part, we see that Bobby is at home. He Oldies. He goes in, has like a heart attack. Whitney is high, and she's looking at Bobby on the floor saying, "Boy, you always playing. I'm going without you." Then the next thing you know, Bobby's rushed to the hospital. Whitney's there, and with Bobbi Kristinas, she's a little baby, and Bobby is saying no more drugs. We must, and Whitney saying, yeah, no more drugs. They go to the Bahamas. Then the feds arrest him for a bench warrant for something that happened in Florida. He goes to jail. Whitney calls him saying he wants him back home, and he said he has to do time. And while he's in jail, he's basically kicking his drug habit. He's going through detox. Bobby gets out of jail. Whitney tries to give him some more narcotic powder. He refuses and says that he's clean. He doesn't need that no more. Bobby and Bobbi Kristina have a touching moment at the house during breakfast. He sings a Sly and the Family Stone song and says, you too young to know about that. And then Bobbi Kristina sings the song back to him, and it's a real touching moment. Bobby's arrested again for having not having a driver's license, and I think he gets back home, and then he finds that Whitney's trying to film a TV interview with Diane Sawyer, the infamous Diane Sawyer interview. Bobby confronts Whitney about the interview making them look bad, and when she said crack is whack, Whitney said she ain't scared of Diane Sawyer. I'm Whitney Houston, you know how that go. Then we got Bobby gets drunk or whatever. He's supposed to go with Tommy to do a gig, I think. And he goes back in the house, and Bobby sees this guy in the house in there, and he confronts the guy and wants to know, is this guy messing with Whitney, or is he bringing her narcotics? They get into he gets into a confrontation with the guy. He physically attacks the guy, beats the guy up, and then he ends up hitting Whitney. Bobby's back in jail for violating his parole. Whitney doesn't press charges with him, but because of that, he's violated parole. He's back in jail. Tommy tells him while he's in jail that he needs to do something to rehab his image. So he suggests doing a reality show, just like Puffy and all these other people got reality shows, and Reverend Run got a reality show. Why don't you do a reality show and that revamp your image? And he said that all the money that you have no money because you living off Whitney Houston, because you sign all your assets to Whitney Houston, and because of that you have no money. So this will be your show to make you some money. And we can film it however we want to film it. We can edit it, whatever parts we don't want to be seen, we can edit the parts of it. And they showed the infamous clip of him and Whitney in the store dancing in the store. And yeah, so after that, Whitney's reading the reviews from the show in the newspaper article, and she's blaming Bobbi for destroying her career and her image and tarnishing her image. And Bobbi's telling her that you're a great singer, but if people perceive you being a princess and you're not. And she said that her family told her not to marry him because of him being a bad influence, this, that, and third. They get into a heated argument. Bobbi Kristinas in the room listening to it in the bedroom, and Bobbi, she tells Bobbi to go to hell, and he leaves. Bobbi's ready to leave the situation with Whitney and asks Tommy for some type of shows to make him some money. While doing the show, he sees Alicia. That's the same girl that was in the first part. And I come to find out Alicia is the girl that was in the Rump Shaker video with Rex in Effect and Teddy Riley. That's the girl playing the saxophone when it first comes on the intro. That's Alicia. That's the girl that Bobbi ends up marrying later on. But anyway, he asks her about Teddy Riley. She said, I haven't seen him since in '92. And basically, they reconnected. They go, I guess, to her place or whatever. He cooks food, and she was saying how he lost all his money. He said that he lost it all by signing his assets to Whitney and blowing it on gifts and narcotics and dumb stuff. And that's how you lose $25 million. Then we get he goes to meet Whitney to have visitation for Bobbi Kristina. Whitney says you can't ask her about my business or whatnot, this, that, and the third. And he tries to talk to Bobbi Kristina, and she seems to be upset and withdrawn. And her mom, she pulls out a cigarette, and Bobbi tells Bobbi Kristina, you can't smoke no cigarette. And she said, I could do what I want to do. And Whitney said, yeah, she can smoke a cigarette she want to. And it's a heated thing, and Bobbi Kristina is not too happy with Bobbi. Tommy and Alicia talk about the management issue. Alicia is the new manager of Bobbi, and Tommy says the reason why he stayed on as manager because he's afraid that Bobbi's going to relapse again, and he knows there's more to their relationship than what it means. What it, on the surface, more to their relationship. And Alicia and Bobbi have a secret intimate relations moment. Bobbi gets served with papers from Whitney. Bobbi gets drunk, goes to Alicia's house, and Alicia says, I'm not Whitney. You need to sober up and get yourself together. Bobbi talks to Alicia about Whitney serving him papers, and Alicia tells Bobbi he needs to get himself together, straighten that stuff out. They have dinner with the kids. Some of the kids is not feeling Alicia. She goes to the, I guess, goes kitchen or something, come back, and they apologize to her. Bobbi's father has lung cancer. I think his mother is sick too. Alicia is pregnant with Bobbi's child. And she's concerned about his drinking and stuff, so she's afraid he's going to relapse and need to straighten out because she's having a baby. And Bobbi is performing with some of the new edition members. And Alicia and his child come on stage, and he asks her to marry her. Bobbi's mama passes away. They have a funeral. Whitney sings at the funeral and reconnects with Bobbi Kristina and the family. Whitney sings a song at the funeral. After the funeral, Bobbi Kristina is reunited with her brothers and sisters, talking about their grandmother. Bobbi reunites with New Edition during the tour. Bobbi finds that Whitney has died. Bobbi Kristinas, he tries to call. She sounds incoherent. Bob's trying to find out what happened to Bobbi Kristinas, and finds out there's some individual that's she's with a guy named Nick, and he's upset about that. They go to Whitney's funeral, and this is the same thing we remember. I remember seeing this on live television when this happened. Whitney's funeral. Bobby and the kids go to the funeral, and the security tells them to leave the funeral because they're not welcome to the funeral. And they see Bobbi Kristinas try to speak to her, and the security tells them, no, you can't go across this line or whatever. Bobbi Kristinas sees her father 2 years after that situation, and says that a lot of decisions were made for her that was not for her, that she had no control over, and she felt bad about it, and she wanted to connect with her brothers and sisters, and wanted her father to help her record a song, one of her favorite songs. Um, then it's a part where he's cooking in the kitchen. He gets a call, and he's told to go to Atlanta. Bobbi Kristinas in a coma. Bobby feels this might be foul play with Bobbi Kristinas' death, and this guy Nick that's connected with Whitney and Bobbi Kristinas' situation wants an investigation. Then near the end, we see Bobby is singing with his children. He's having a cookout, and yeah, there's a part where also he's going through like a counseling session. Then he's having a cookout later on. It's a cookout that's going on. The kids are singing, and I think his son is dancing to one of his songs playing on the radio. And then they show all these different things about him. He created some kind of foundation for Bobbi Kristinas, and he has some type of cooking recipe or cooking products that he got out, and he's still touring making music. So man, this was a very powerful, intense part 2, and I think the actors and everybody did very well in this particular series. Shout out to Woody McLean. It's the guy, I guess, that played Bobby, and all the different actors and characters. This was very intense. So what's next? Belle Biv DeVoe movie? Ralph Tresvant movie? The sky's the limit, man. I know they got high ratings on this. Well, if you like this video, y'all, please hit that like icon if you can, and subscribe to Mujahid72. As always, Mu says peace and blessings to everybody, and have a nice day. Thank you.